Let's talk about my roster. For Weapon X, I decided to go with all the available affiliated characters minus Domino, for the only reason that I didn't buy the box because I hate Cable and I didn't want to spend money on just Domino. However, all the other Weapon X characters are here, and I normally pick 3 to 4 affiliated characters depending on the map, just because, as we will see later, unaffiliated characters do not really match well with Weapon X. Normally you go dual affiliated, but in my case I wanted to go single affiliation and just normally swap one of the splashes. So I may go with Hulk if I need attrition, like extra attrition. I may go with Mr. Sinister, who is a niche pick. However, he really matches well with Weapon X because he can extract 3 tokens on round 1 without any real damage, because all the other characters would heal. And then already round 2 he can play Cloning Banks, which is one of the greatest cards of the game, to deploy, for example, Honey Badger in the middle of the map to annoy and reduce the defense of the opponent's characters. It really depends on the matchup, but let's say Mr. Sinister and Hulk are my favorite choices with splashes. I know I like those characters that people normally don't pick, but whatever. So Kraven synergizes really well with Weapon X because he has no real need for the leadership, because of course you don't want to throw him in combat as soon as you can. However, you have a nice round 0 action. For example, you wait on a C map, or let's say on a middle objective, you wait for the opposing character to move there, then you move once with Kraven. If you do the spear throw, it has the opportunity to move again, and so you can already go on and contest that center secure. Then, as soon as he has 3 power, he can give a penalty to an enemy character, and all friendly characters attacking that character add an extra die. So imagine if your opponent has a kaiju, let's say Hulk, Immortal Hulk, Malekith, you name it, all your friendly characters will have an extra die attacking that character. So that can be extremely valuable. Let's just spend a minute on Ulik. Ulik is great overall in any affiliations. He is a staple of my Criminal Syndicate, when I have Kingpin, for example. But here he can give me a little flexibility. Let's say I want to go with X-23, Logan, Apex, and Deadpool. I don't have enough to pick Hulk. I can just settle for Ulik, who's as good as Hulk, but not as much. Last but not least, Hood, just because he has that nice round. Just because on round 2, if he can get at least 1 shot, he can already give, it can already heal a friendly character within 3. So he only needs 3 power in order to do so. So imagine round 1, you have your own power. Round 2, power phase, you're already at 2. If he's within 3 range of an opponent, he can start shooting. And since it's a gainer, he has an automatic power. So let's say you put Hulk in a bad position in round 1, you can activate Hood and let's say get a couple of shots, heal Hulk by 3 or heal X-23 by 3, and then maybe do some nice attacks after he flips. So it's also a valuable choice. As for my cards, I decided to go with Exceptional Healing. Duh. I decided to go with Exceptional Healing, which is a no-brainer. Then Escort to Safety, which I normally use to pull characters back if I overcommit or if those characters get moved. Indomitable, because sometimes you don't want to be moved and you don't want someone to throw Hulk at somebody else. So Indomitable is a valuable choice. Then the Dossier, which is I think the best card available to Weapon X. And Are You Sure You Want to Remember, which is the affiliation. So the affiliation of Weapon X is so Weapon X's affiliation gives you 3 tokens at the beginning of the game, and your leader can play those 3. Sorry, and as long as you have cazzo sto dicendo? Are You Sure You Want to Remember is Weapon X's affiliation, so you start with 1 less card compared to most of the other teams, except you start with only 4 cards that you can pick, then you need to waste one of the card slots for your affiliation, just like Hellfire has to do. But it's a good affiliation, not great to be honest, but it's a good one. So you have 3 tokens at the beginning of the match, and each one of your affiliated characters can use those tokens when attacked, not when dodging, and they add 2 defense dice. If they don't take any damage, they can move S towards the attacking character, which, you know, can add some extra strategy within your team. Every time you use a token is gone. However, every time one of your characters is dazed or KO'd, then you get it back. So don't feel afraid of using them, because you're gonna have plenty, especially with an affiliation like Weapon X. Alright, so let's start with my leader. I decided to go with X23 because she is very killy, but she's also fragile, and I don't want to send her through the enemy lines just like I would with Logan the Wolverine. So I feel a bit safer going with her. And also, if I keep her within range of Honey Badger, I can benefit from Bodyguard, while with Logan you want to send him rogue because of the rerolls and all the rest. So I decided to go with X23. I think it was the right choice, even though we will see. Every Weapon X team has to go with Logan. So Logan the Wolverine is a great character. He has a big flow, which is the 2 blue defense, so mystic defense, that also has a bad effect on his allies if targeted, because he tends to do damage around himself. So you want to keep him away from everyone, because as long as he's farther than 3 away from any other team member, he benefits from 2 rerolls on every single attack, which can be great, especially if you want to send him to die on a solo mission against like 2-3 characters that maybe can also beam. When it comes to stamina, he's got 6 on each side, so it's quite tanky. However, again, the 2 blue defense doesn't really make you feel safe if you want to play him in every single list. So of course, against Convocation, you think about it twice, but you never know, because on the other end, he's got very good red attacks, and normally Mystic users tend to have fewer defense dice when it comes to red attacks. And let's go with my 2. So Honey Badger is a safe choice. She's only 2. She cannot contest nor interact with objective tokens, so you don't want to send her away where she has no real value. But where she really shines is staying close to the fray, because if she is within 1 of an enemy character, of any enemy characters, she will reduce their defense by 1, which is great. It doesn't work on her own attacks, but again, it doesn't really matter in this case. Also, she's got the same bodyguard rules of New Colossus and Luke Cage, which for only 2 power forces enemy opponents that are within 2 of her to attack her. And this can save you a lot of headaches, especially when it comes to, for example, pushes versus somebody you don't want to be pushed, or those blasts like, I don't know, Helios Laser, if you are lucky to be within 2 of the attacking character, yeah, if they're so bad. But you never know, right? So her bodyguard combined with the extra movement that she gives to X23 in case she gets attacked, and the bodyguard make her a super viable option. And to close with the affiliated characters, let's go with my favorite, which is Victor Creed, Sabretooth Apex Predator. So, yeah, I never get tired of this character. Number 1, he potentially has 4 actions, because he's got 2 attacks, he's got a character throw, which is unique, so you cannot throw terrain, you can only throw characters, but whatever. And then he's got his own throw, so he throws himself at enemies, and they have to dodge for incoming damage, which is great. Plus, you can even use this as a tool to move closer to the characters you want to attack. He's got 4-3-4 defense, 7 stamina on his healthy side, 6 on his injured side, and healing factor 1. I think he is overall an excellent character. I always put him in my rosters, of course, on Weapon X, but on Brotherhood, and even sometimes with Criminal Syndicate, because you can go with either Shadowlander Devil, so give him those juicy rerolls, especially if you want to fish for those wilds that can give Pierce and Bleed. But with Kingpin, you would have a super tanky character to put on an objective and just feel safe that he's not gonna die. Furthermore, each one of the characters I presented so far can be saved by Exceptional Healing, which is one of the better cards out there, and we're gonna check it out in a moment. But before doing that, my last character, in this case, non-affiliated. All right, that's Hulk. I don't think I have to say anything else about him. He is widely considered as one of the best characters in the game for good reasons. Number one, just like Sabretooth, he's got 4 potential actions because he's got 2 attacks. Then he can Gamma Leap, so you can place him within 2. And then he can throw up to size 4, either characters or terrain, for just 2 power. He doesn't need any extra support, so I don't care if he cannot use the extra 2 dice for my leadership, because my leadership is very unique, is only usable by affiliated characters, right? So of course Hulk is not Weapon X, but he adds a lot of damage because of course Weapon X is an attrition affiliation. But with Hulk you can feel safe that, for example, widespread maps, you can put Hulk on one side, Logan on the other side, and then the other 3 in the middle just to go and try to do damage.
So for my squad, I chose Captain America First Avenger, the Black Widow, Miss Marvel, War Machine, and Doctor Strange as an unaffiliated splash. Captain America is a really good leader for having a slightly bent towards attrition, but still being able to do control. The hope with him is to allow a lot of these special triggers on Doctor Strange, the Black Widow, and Miss Marvel to go off. And also just kind of provide a little bit more of a damage by just maybe adding in 1 more dice of a hit or a wild where we need, and providing us kind of a frontline force. The Black Widow is a great character for any type of missions that have 3 or fewer extracts. She is a good, not full attrition, but she can spike really well, especially with her spender. The main reason is that she's defensive, and she has an ability that when she would drop an objective, she chooses where to drop it. So it can be really useful for grabbing something, and even if she gets spiked, can drop the objective in the back line for someone else to pick up. Ms. Marvel is a great 3-threat attrition character. When she embiggens between the Inhuman roll and the Morphogenetics reroll, you can really reliably put some damage, and if you could get Smash online on a size 3, having 8 dice attacks within range 3 that you can do 3 rerolls is a great way to delete some models. Besides that, between the transforms and the large base, and having a 2-inch interact when she is embiggened is a nice scenario piece as well. War Machine is kind of a simple 3. There's not a whole lot to him. He's just tough. The beam's nice, if not a short range. The reason why I took him here is that being able to guarantee the bleed is nice, and also he never really ever needs his power, so can always use that 1 power to get the extra damage through and just be a little bit more of an attrition character, in addition to being tanky and sitting on a point. And lastly, Doctor Strange is a fantastic support and control piece, allowing me to buff my weaker characters, such as War Machine and Miss Marvel, with defensive dice, and healing some of my more expensive characters that I want to keep alive, like Captain America and the Black Widow. His push on damage at range 4 is also really nice, and if my opponent takes a really big model like a Hulk or something like that, I can try to use Crimson Bands of Sidorak to either reduce the effectiveness or potentially just steal the activation entirely. And so he's a really good spot control and support piece on these closer maps, but not super close like an E would be. So I'm hoping to take him here to give the support and to kind of push off points at range.
Not a great first round for me, because on the left hand side I moved Sabretooth first so he could grab the first Paranoid and then just stay on the point. Then I wanted to move Logan after Black Widow because I thought he could do some damage, but he actually didn't. So besides doing like 1-2 damage to her and placing within 1, he's now in position to be kicked back, which is not great. Then I moved Honey Badger up so she could reduce defense of both Miss Marvel and Cap by 1 die by next round. and because of her ankle biter. But Hulk moved up, gamma leaped, and did just 1 damage to Miss Marvel, which was ridiculous. And then I just put X-23 in position for next round, so probably with the 2 power she will have, she will be able to do the spender, move, do some more damage, and maybe get the trigger. Let's see. To you, Nick.
Yeah, so my strategy kind of worked out decently. Black Widow did what I wanted to do, which is grab that point and just kind of stay on it, even with Logan being kind of scary, was able to not die. Um, Captain America went upwards to get the point and to grab the paranoia. Miss Marvel went up to get the other one. Now that the Captain America was there, didn't have to take the damage. And War Machine went to go grab the one on the right, but unfortunately Apex had grabbed it first, so was just there to sit on the point and contest it. My one little gamble that I had was not moving Strange all the way up, but instead leaving him back and trying to bolts of Bathak onto X-23 and potentially pushing her back, but I rolled horribly even with Agamotto. I didn't do any damage, which would have given me the push. I was unable to get X-23 back. We did lose this point to my opponent here, but we'll see what happens next round.
I kicked off my second round with a bad decision, and then I just made bad decision after bad decision. So I activated Hulk first because I was like, okay, I can probably daze Miss Marvel with 1 strike, then do 1 more strike on Cap and then throw him into Strange. What happened is that at the end of my activation, I've done 1 or 2 damage to Miss Marvel with 2 punches, and then I've thrown Cap into Strange, but they both brazed, so that was it. Then Black Widow activated. I decided not to use Exceptional Healing on Logan because I was confident it would survive. It didn't. And then I ended up using 2 tokens, so buffing my Mystic Defense twice on X-23, and once even use Exceptional Healing, but nothing worked. She still went down. On the other side, since I made a mistake with Sabretooth, because once you play the dossier, ideally you place a character in a central position so the character can move either left or right. But Nick wisely put the dossier onto Black Widow. So what I'm going to do next round, since I'm going to go first, is interact with the portal. If I get to move on the other side, I will use Victor to daze Black Widow because I can reroll everything. And then probably this will free up Logan to move to interact again with the portal, maybe move in a better position to beam. Let's see. On the other side, I have enough power to bodyguard twice with the little lady, so let's see how it goes. But I'm in a bad position because Nick scored 8 points and me, I scored just 0, and I just scored 0, so we'll see. To you, Nick.
All right, so yeah, I got very lucky this round. My strategy was to, since I was able to activate Black Widow first over here, try to take out Logan. The special attack, the spender for Black Widow, if you can get the finisher trigger off, is extremely powerful. And I was able to take out Logan. And Miss Marvel was able to get enough power through being attacked to embiggen and then also smash. There was a building here, sure, say building. So between Smash and then a beginning, was able to take out Sabretooth. Both kind of 2 very powerful characters that weren't able to attack this round. X-23 had done some good damage into Captain America, but I was able to heal it with Doctor Strange, and then Doctor Strange was able to take out, between Doctor Strange and Captain America, we were able to take X-23. Hulk, thankfully, kind of didn't do too much, so Miss Marvel was able to survive this round, but just barely. And then Honey Badger didn't manage to do too much. So let's see if I can keep this lead going forward and not just get immediately decimated the next turn. My hope is to basically, I imagine whoever is going to go first on my opponents is just going to murder whoever they're next to, whether that be Black Widow, Miss Marvel, or War Machine. So I'll just have to play reactive to that and just try to maintain this lead as best I can by just surviving as much as I can.
Just like Carmalone would have said, this round was bittersweet because Victor teleported from the left hand side to the right hand side on the other portal. One shot Black Widow, she dropped both the dossier and the disturbance, but since she could drop the tokens far away, he still had one attack to go, and I didn't want to waste it by just having him, to move up and pick up the tokens. So he re-teleported and just hit Cap once, but didn't do much. What happened then was that Logan was just going to pick up both the dossier and the paranoid and move back, so at least he's securing 2 points. Then Strange activated, tried to push away Annie Badger, but she used Indomitable, so she was still in bodyguarding range, and she did her job. And X-23 went Berserker, and Daze Cap moved with the Spender, hit again War Machine, one-shot him, and then she got the extra move, so she moved to the left portal, so she's now securing 2 points. And since Hulk was only able to leave Strange with 1 point hanging, he just moved up, and I left the central portal to the opponent. So not a great round, but still better, so went up to 6 points.
Okay. All right, so that turn went as bad as I expected. Everyone except for Strange was dazed because my opponent's team is very killy and was loaded on power. So I lost both War Machine, Marvel, and Black Widow without being able to do anything just because of unfortunate timing. The Captain America was able to kill Sabretooth with some very lucky Brooklyn Brawlers, which was very nice, but was also then dazed by Hulk in return. There wasn't too much I could do this turn. This was a lot of just trying to survive and keeping on my toes. Between Strange healing himself with Oster's and then moving on to a point to save something here, I was able at least to secure 1 point this round. But most of it was just kind of getting my comeuppance. We'll see if next round if I can kind of come back, finish off some of these injured characters, and maintain what is now a diminishing lead from my opponent.
Logan died to Black Widow, and with him every chance I had to come back. So I had to use 2 tokens because I got all my tokens back the previous round. However, there wasn't enough because Black Widow attacked him 3 times with rerolls and 1 not. So Logan died. I activated Hulk, and he was barely able to kill Cap because of Strange's shenanigans, but it was not enough because Miss Marvel killed X-23, so she's now securing 2 points on the other side. So that was it for me. Not really eventful, and no, I was pretty disappointed in Hulk, but again, it's a dice game, so kudos to Nick. So please go ahead with your glorious debrief.
So this round, the Black Widow strategy continued to work really well. By activating first, I was able to finish off Logan, secure this objective and getting 2 points. The other point which worked really well, War Machine and Miss Marvel were kind of these points where I could lose the model very quickly. War Machine is a little bit tougher, but still can when you have things like X-23 and Hulk, they can wipe out models really quickly. Fortunately I lost Captain America, but that allowed me to kind of activate with Miss Marvel and Biggin and kill X-23, which allowed me to take this point and freed up War Machine to come over and pick up the token that was on Captain America, and getting close to Doctor Strange score not only the point but then the friendship bonus, which brought me to 16. My game plan worked pretty well. There were some hiccups, and I got very lucky on attacks where I expected to do some damage, maybe days, and was able to days more than what should have been statistically likely.
Don't thank the
The
dice, thank your strategy.
It's a little of the dice. The main plan, which was to use Doctor Strange to kind of control Hulk, totally did not work. But Strange was able to kind of push people off and then thankfully heal people and keep them alive, which I think allowed me to stay up on the attrition side more than I would if I didn't have Doctor Strange. So I think that allowed me to stay in the fight a little bit longer and not daze as quickly as my opponent. Strange is once again this Strange is a strange character if you don't look at him as essentially a force multiplier for the rest of your squad.
Yeah. In my case, I can say that the general idea was right. The problem I had at the end was that I should have not sent Logan alone against Black Widow, because in the long run she would have won, and Logan is more against is more like a bar fighter, a brawler, rather than 1v1. Hulk didn't do any damage. That was a big issue at the beginning of the game. But then again, I don't think I would have won, especially because even when Sabretooth could go and in days, Black Widow at the end, he was in awkward position. So I should have just left Logan there, accept the loss on that side, and win the rest of the table. So going back in time, I would probably do exactly the same, except I would put Sabretooth more central in order to make a better use of the dossier, and then probably have I should have probably given up one of the two sides, but it is what it is. Live and learn, and next game probably is gonna be better because I'm gonna try something different with a much nicer team. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to give up those side points when they're two.
Yes.
Yes. I think that when you brought over Sabretooth and took out Widow before she could do anything, I think moving him back in the middle was a bad idea because that just allowed me to set up for the attack. I think if you left him there, even if Natasha went first, you would have been able to kill Natasha with one of the other characters. She would have been gone, and then you would have had essentially those 2 points.
True. But again, that was a mistake, so I'll try not to do it again.
Yeah.
Right?
And it was a good game, though. It was a really good comeback. I mean, I thankfully had that really big lead. I was able to kind of ride it, but you were really coming back quickly.
If you like what you see, if you like this different approach on battle reports, please do like and subscribe. We'll try to put an episode up at least once every 2 weeks, and we're not going to do any Patreon on whatnots. We would actually like to divert anyone who wants to actively support creators in this space to go and check out the podcast we likes and the other channels we likes. And again, Nick and I were happy to do this just because we're way too far. Even though we live in the same city, we're way too far apart that we're just gonna look for excuses in order to play. So thanks again, and please stay tuned. And of course, let me say something that every successful YouTuber does, which is, if you like to see a different affiliation, or if you like to ask us to play specific characters or affiliations, please leave a message in the comment section below.